And to anchor this discussion, we are now going to welcome my colleague, Senator Tregenza Roach. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So I asked Senator Millen Young, so why did you select me for this technology panel? Because I'm like the only one in the legislature who still has the iPhone 4, and I'm not constantly punching into my texting and everything, right? So she said, she reminded me about a recent interaction that I had when the International Masters of Gaming Law came to the territory for their conference. And it was a very important conference for the territory. They brought members here from Holland and from Germany, from Denmark, and from every state in the United States. And for those of you who are not aware of what the IMGL is, it's a collection of attorneys, consultants, bankers, investors that keep the gaming industry pretty much alive, right? And they come together in this annual conference to develop policy that affects gaming throughout the world. And so it was a significant choice. It was significant for us that they decided that this is where they wanted to come and convene this conference. And one of the things that we talked about was what the Virgin Islands has to offer. Right here on the program, showcasing what the US Virgin Islands has to offer the world. Now, one of the things that I try to sell the people, investors on about the Virgin Islands, I'm a big cheerleader for the Virgin Islands. And the International Masters of Gaming Law, the members, were not even aware that the Virgin Islands was a pioneer in internet gaming legislation, going back as far as 2002, when I think there was only one jurisdiction, Nevada, that had an internet gaming law. And the Department of Justice actually said that the Virgin Islands statute was violative of the Wire Act. And we didn't sit by and just accept that decision. We actually challenged it and succeeded in convincing the courts that as long as the internet gaming was taking place between jurisdictions in which it was legal, there was no violation of the act. And we succeeded, and we are now the only territory with an internet gaming law, and only 4 states in the country that actually have one. And so when we talk about showcasing what the Virgin Islands has to offer, I think that spirit of challenge is an important one, because we are not just sand and sea, although we are sand and sea. We're not that. We are people with great aspirations. And I think if you even go back to the acquisition of these islands from Denmark by the United States, you see a history of challenge. Challenging the relationship to the United States as an unincorporated territory, challenging the limitations on citizenship of Virgin Islanders, and challenging in the areas that allow us to have a better quality of life. So just recently, Congress lifting the 6-pack rule that affected our charter yacht industry incredibly in the Virgin Islands, that could not have happened without a constant advocacy on the part of Virgin Islanders. And I think that's very, very important to observe. So now, coming back to the iPhone. So I went to AT&T to upgrade because they said I could, and because I said, okay, now I'm going to have the iPhone 6. So I go to AT&T, and their network was down for probably about a half an hour while I waited around in the store, chatting with all the other customers that were so amazed that AT&T was down. And by the time I got to the young man who helped me, or was going to help me get the new phone, and he explained now that AT&T is moving people away from the 2-year contract, and they're actually going to have something called AT&T next, and it's actually going to save me money. By the time he was finished, I had a headache. And I could not even understand why AT&T was introducing some plan that they believed that they could convince me was actually going to save me money. And next door to the station next to me, they were explaining to a young woman about her plan, and when she uses the first set of gigabytes and the speed that they would be running at, and then the other set would come in and she would never go over the plan. I said, my God, everybody in here is confused because I'm not understanding what that man is saying. And I think that's what brings me to this conversation. Yes, we want to create an environment that's friendly to business and friendly to investment. Our livelihood depends on it. The success of this territory depends on it. But at the same time, I was so heartened with Dr. Marcel when she talked about the encouragement of companies not only to do well, but to do good. And so for us, in this landscape, the challenge of creating good public policy that, yes, sets an investment climate that encourages people to come here and to spend their dollars here, but two, protects the access of our people to good products and good services at prices that they can afford, and three, creates opportunities for them to learn, to be trained, and to expand the landscape in which they can seek educational opportunities. And of course, all of this in a framework that ensures that our government can collect the revenues which supports the public services that government has to provide. And so as policymakers coming to a forum like this, we have that incredible challenge of trying to balance all of those objectives and still ensuring that we're sending the message to people that the Virgin Islands is open for business. And we are. But the important thing that I would like investors to know is that we are a special place. This is a very, very special place. And I was not going to take issue with the first sentence that I read in the booklet, but I'll say it anyway. Columbus didn't discover the Virgin Islands. The Cubrimiento or wherever, he didn't discover the Virgin Islands. The Caribs who were here, who I descend from, were fighting because they knew that this was a place to protect. And the same way that we know today that this is a place to protect, because we have the challenge of leaving it better than we found it to the people who are going to come after us. So I appreciate your coming. I thank Senator Millen for putting the forum together, and I look forward to the interaction. Thank you.